Hey guys, how are you all? My name is Harshit Devadi friends and I welcome you back to my video. In this video, I will be discussing the Mopla Malabar rebellion with you. Friends, this rebellion happened in 1921. Basically, it started as a class struggle but changed itself to the communal struggle. It was also known as Malabar Revolt, Malabar Rebellion and also known as Malabar Riots. So this video is presented by me, Harshit Devadi friends. It happened during the non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement in 1921. So let's move forward. So this was basically the riots of 1921, which happened between the Moplas, which were the Muslims of the Malabar in the 19th century, starting from 1836, and in the earlier 20th century against British and Hindu landlords in the Malabar. Many British government officials were killed. Many Hindu landlords of the Malabar, North Kerala, Eden were killed. So initially it started as a class uprising, but slowly it changed itself into communal uprising, and there were widespread communal riots. Okay. Now, friends, first of all, we need to understand who these Mopla were. So basically, first of all, we need to understand the entry of Muslims into India. The Muslims entered through the northwest route. This is the map of India. Muslims entered through this route here. Okay, but before them, this is here northwest Afghanistan, Pakistan, and basically here, that is at the Malabar coast. Many Arab traders came in the ninth century onwards. Okay, so many in the ninth century onwards, many Arab Muslim traders came to India and they settled down in India, and they were even allowed by the local rulers to settle down in India because actually they were traders. So they brought trade with them, money with them, opportunities with them. Basically a more prosperous the trade was being carried out, so the local rulers were benefiting from it. They were benefiting from the tax imposed on the goods entering into their territory. So obviously they allowed these native Arabian rulers to settle down in India, and after settling down these native Arab traders, they married the local Indian women. So they married the local women, and obviously their descendants came. So their descendants were known by the name of Mopala. Mopala is basically the name of son-in-law in Malayalam. Okay, and all the Moplas are not the descendants of Arab. Okay, what happened that when Tipu Sultan captured Malabar and after Hyder Ali's invasion of Malabar, what happened that a lot of Hindu peasants were converted to Muslim. Okay, forced conversion were there. So a lot of Moplas were the converted Hindus also. Okay, and they were actually big in numbers, and most of the peasant community, agricultural community was Mopla only. Okay, now what happened that before Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali's attack, what was the traditional system of Malabar? The land laws was named by the name of Janmi. Okay, he owned a lot of land and he rented out that land to others for farming. Okay, so basically these Moplas were mostly cultivators of land under the system, and the Janvis were upper caste Hindus. So Janvis were landlord, that is upper caste Hindus, and Mopla used to word under them under as peasants. Okay, what happened during Hyder Ali's invasion of Malabar 1765 and the subsequent Tipu Sultan invasion, that the Janvi, the landlords, they started running away from Malabar. They thought that they will be persecuted by the invading hordes. Also they will be, forced conversion will be carried on, they will be converted from Hindus to Muslims. So because of this fear, they fled away from this Malabar region, and obviously when the upper landlords and zamindars fled away, these lands were came under the ownership of the Mopla tenants. So Mopla tenants who were previously taking the land on rent and doing agriculture on it, now they became the owner of the land. Okay, so this happened. What happened forward that friends, when the Tipu Sultan died in 4th Anglo-Mysore War in 1799, and the this Tipu Sultan dynasty came to an end, obviously this Mysore presidency and the Malabar region became a part of the Madras presidency and came into the control of the British. Now Britishers restored everything what was happening in the previous. Britishers said that now all the rights of the ownership rights of these lands will go to the original owners, that is the Janmis. Now Janmis were again given the ownership of their lands. Janmis given the absolute ownership rights of the land, and obviously now what these Janmis were told that you are the owner of this land. So whatever the rent revenue will be coming from this land, you will pay to us, and you will employ the tenants beneath you, and you will take the rent, or you can say their produce from them. So this was the system. Basically these Janmis were called back and they were made the zamindars again. Now these Genoese, by having British administration and authority at their back, they started suppressing and exploiting the peasants, the Moplas, furiously. They were, now they started real exploitation of the Moplas, and obviously there was bound to be a backlash in Moplas, and a series of riots started right from 1836. From 1836 to 1896, Moplas killed many government officials. They killed many Hindu landlords, and basically a lot of rights were communal in nature, because the Mopla, who were Muslims, they thought that these upper class Hindus are trying to dominate over them. So they killed those Hindus. They killed the British government officers who were trying to help those Hindu landlords. Okay, and many Hindus were being targeted. They were being killed. And if they were, forcible conversions being taken out, so if they were didn't convert to Islam, they were killed. So these type of things were happening, friends. And this thing was given a boost by the Khilafat movement of 1919. This Khilafat movement, as I've already told you, I've made a separate video on Khilafat movement. To please go and watch that video. I made a separate video on Khilafat movement. I made a separate video on non-cooperation movement. So please go back and watch those videos. It is very important to watch those videos and then come back to it so you can understand this Khilafat movement was associated with Indian National Congress. So Indian National Congress and Gandhi ji, they were basically supporting this Khilafat movement. Now what this Khilafat movement did, they went from place to place and preached the religious identities, and the Khilafat meetings in Malabar, they incited communal feelings in the Moplas. What the Khilafat leaders said, that our Sultan, the Caliph Sultan, is being suppressed by the powers, obviously, but and the communal tinge, the religious tinge was being awakened inside them. They were aroused. But the cause of the Khilafat was outside the country. So obviously those Moplas were not able to go to Turkey to fight. What they did, that all those religious tinge, all those religious element, all this arousement went out against the Hindu landlords and the British government servants when this Mopla rebellion started, friends. And obviously these Hindu landlords were at the receiving end, and the British government officers were at the receiving end. There was large scale violence. Systematic persecution of Hindus took place and British officers were killed. Many homes and the temples were destroyed. The prominent leaders of the rebellion were Ali Musaliyar and Varyanath Kunath Kunja Hamad Haji. So these were the main leaders of this Mopla rebellion. Also, from August 1921 till the end of 1921, that is till December 1921, these rebellion, that is the Moplas, controlled large parts of the Malabar. But the Britishers, in response to this, they raised a special battalion named as the Malabar Special Force to control this side, and this rebellion was crushed by this Malabar Special Force, the British force, by the end of December 1921. In 1960, in November 1921, a wagon tragedy happened. What happened in this wagon tragedy, friends? That around 67 Mopla prisoners, obviously these were those who were agitating against the British and who killed the landlords and the British government officials. These prisoners, basically they were transported in a closed freight wagon. This wagon was going from Tirur. Wagon means a railway box. So it was going from Tirur to Podanur, the central prison in Podanur. So obviously they were all closed inside this freight wagon. Obviously there was no air. So these all people died of suffocation. These all 67 Mopla prisoners. Obviously a wagon is small, and if you are going to fill 67% inside it and you are going to close the wagon, obviously they are going to die of suffocation. So they died of suffocation, and this is famously known as the wagon tragedy, friends. So these type of things happened at that point of time. Also, Mopla rebellion was not a successful rebellion. It was basically a failure. Why it was a failure? Because non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement started on the basic premises of non-violence. There has to be no violence. Gandhiji clearly said that non-violence is the basic principle. But that principle was violated because the communal event came into it, and lot of people were killed, especially the Hindu landlords and the British government servants. So basically, instead of being a class struggle or a struggle against colonialism, it became an anti-Hindi movement. Brutal violence for their widespread forceful conversions, for their destruction of property happened. Okay, and it was totally not a class conflict but a religious conflict. And obviously Sri Shankar Nair, who was a former president of the Indian National Congress, he openly criticized Gandhiji's support for the non-Khilafat movement. He said that Gandhiji's support for the Khilafat movement has given a big boost to the communal tinge, and this was one of the causes of the violence. And obviously this type of violence is going to happen in numerous numbers after some time in the time period of 1923 to 2030. So this was basically Mopla rebellion, friends. I hope this thing was useful for you. Okay, this Mopla rebellion, suddenly had a religious coloring. It is not a good chapter of our Indian history. It has shown how the Hindu Muslim clashes has affected our Indian freedom struggle, and how it has divided the fabric over the secular fabric of our society. The secular fabric of our society has been going on for thousands of years, and it was being disturbed by activities like this. So this was Mopla rebellion, friends. If you like this video, please tell me through the comment section below. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can tell me through the comment section below. Also, if you want me to make videos on any particular topic, then you can also tell me, friends. Any improvement in the video will be most appreciated by me, and obviously I will be making a videos of many more topics. I know the speed of the uploading of video is less. The Hindi version of the video has already been uploaded, so if you are not comfortable in English, friends, go to the Hindi version of the video. That is all. Now in the latest video I'm uploading bilingually, that is I am uploading in English also, and I'm uploading in Hindi also. Please subscribe to my channel, friends. That's very important for me. It gives a lot of encouragement. So thank you for watching this video, friends. Thank you for being patient. Have a very nice day.